You're watching the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14.
Right now at 7, the oldest woman alive in Jasper County celebrated her 105th birthday yesterday. KOAM's Melissa Alexis was there to capture the moment.
Also, we'll have a few tips to keep you and your family safe during the cold and flu season.
Talking about cold, we have an alert day today. We have winter weather alerts across the 4 states and snow on the way. Details coming up.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Well, good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14. I'm Elise Snowy.
And I'm Chris Warner. It's just after 7 a.m. on this Thursday, January the 9th. And again, we do have an alert day in place today as we've got snow rolling in as we head into the afternoon. We're going to go over all those details with you here in just a few minutes. But ahead of the snow, a very big celebration taking place.
Absolutely. Well, it was the 105th birthday of a special member of the Carthage community. The oldest woman in Jasper County celebrated her big day yesterday, surrounded by family and friends.
KOAM's Melissa Alexis was there to capture the celebration.
It's a good life.
Helen Hubbard made a grand entrance on a red carpet to her 105th birthday celebration.
I'm enjoying every minute of it.
Cake, balloons, and music to celebrate the oldest person in Jasper County. Her friends, family, and others traveled far and wide to be by her side at St. Luke's Nursing Center in Carthage.
People from Savar City that came, so Branson area. I mean, we've got relatives flying in from California. It looks like there were people from like an Army officer corps that came.
At the celebration, the mayor of Carthage declared January 8th Helen Hubbard Day. She's had a long life and she's even had multiple careers. She started out as a teacher and then she later became a dietitian for the Army.
Teaching, I think, high school, a couple different classes, and somebody came in, I guess a magazine salesman, and convinced her to join the Army. And so she went in as a dietitian and kind of worked her way up.
Hubbard's granddaughter, Grace Brown, says the World War II Army vet is known for being a huge Chiefs fan and for her big personality.
Very, very spunky. She's got a great sense of humor. Always likes to crack a joke or poke fun at you a little bit or tease you a little bit.
Hubbard says her secret to a long life is having a positive outlook.
Putting up with what happens and go along.
And her faith.
God's looking after us all this time. And he's been pretty busy on me for 105 years.
Reporting in Carthage, Melissa Alexis, KOAM News.
Hubbard has 14 total great-grandchildren.
That is a number of great-grandchildren to celebrate. And, of course, you may remember Helen a few years ago, one of our Chiefs promos that we put together. She joined us for that as well. Just an incredible lady. And here's maybe to another 100 more.
Yes, happy birthday to her.
Indeed. Happy birthday, Helen. And it's good to celebrate it ahead of the snow because it may not be as easy to get out and do any celebrating as we head into the afternoon and overnight hours. Let's take a quick look outside from our camera downtown Pittsburgh. Got a few clouds out there as they will continue to increase through the morning, and you got a moment, maybe take a picture of how things look now, because about 24 hours from now it will look very, very different out there. MoDOT camera 20th and range line in Joplin. It's the leading edge of clouds that are working in from the southwest as we start to see them increase ahead of our increasing snow chances. Now we have winter weather advisories for most of the area, and then we've got winter storm warnings for McDonald, Berry, and Benton counties down in the southern portion of our area. So that's where the higher amounts of snow are expected, but across the rest of the area, we're looking at the same line as yesterday, but here's what we got. So Nevada down to Parsons and Independence and Northwest, I believe we're looking at about 1 to 3 inches of snow. From that same line down to right around the I-44 corridor, say as far south as Neosho, Monette, Mount Vernon, just north of Grove. In this zone, we're looking at roughly 2 to 4 inches of possible snow. And then you get southeast of that point into the winter storm warnings, and we're at an area where we could see 4 to 6 inches of snow as we head into tonight and tomorrow. So by noon, here we are. We've got the south winds. They're going to be increasing as well, gusting up to 25, which that'll create its own problems later with some occasional blowing snow situations that could lead to reduced visibilities. Starting to sneak into the southwestern part of our area by noon. by 4. A good portion of us now, about 2/3 of the region, getting in on this snow. And as we head later into the evening, as we're getting closer to that evening commute, we are looking at snow across the area. And something else to keep in mind, that snow is really going to be working into the western part of our area as early as 2 or 3 o'clock. So right around dismissal time for a number of schools. I know it's happened before. It could happen again. Keep an eye on your local school district, especially in our western counties, in case they decide to do an early dismissal today to beat the snow. 22 in Joplin right now, 20 in Pittsburgh. Quick look at temperatures across the area. Still cold, but better than we were yesterday. We've got some upper teens out there and some low 20s. And with that south breeze, it is putting our wind chills back a couple of single digits, Stockton and Iola. The rest of us feels like it's in the teens. As we go through the rest of the morning, again, increasing clouds, snow chances increasing through the afternoon. Highs today better than where we have been as we get close to the mid-30s. We're going to have another look at your forecast. We're going to break down the snow, what happens after the snow, and some warmer weather that's on the way here in just a few more minutes. Elise?
All right, thanks, Chris. The Parsons, Kansas Police Department is hopeful its new domestic violence unit will help reverse a troubling trend. The city opened the unit in September in response to rising numbers of domestic violence reports both in the city and statewide. Now in 2021, Parsons had 146 reports of domestic violence. The number increased to 203 in 2023. In 2024, the PD responded to 149 reports. The Parsons DVU is funded by a 2-year federal grant and operates from an undisclosed location away from the police headquarters. A Freeman Health System announces it's making progress on the Freeman Fort Scott Hospital that was proposed back in June. The 10-bed general medical unit and 24-hour emergency department will operate within the city's former hospital site. The planning for renovations and the design phase have been completed. The renderings have been submitted to state officials, and once approved, renovations will begin. Freeman Health System says they're optimistic the facility will open in the spring. And as we move deeper into the winter months, respiratory viruses are on the rise. Freeman Hospital in Joplin reports cases of flu and RSV are currently in double digits, and experts warn these numbers will likely continue to climb if we don't take the right precautions. KOAM's Lonnie Walton talked to a doctor about what you can do to protect yourself.
The flu and the RSV, the numbers are in the double digits.
Dr. Elsie Ott is the ER doctor at Freeman Hospital in Joplin. And yes, flu and RSV are filling the ER room for now. But he says this is standard, just like last year for the Joplin area.
The numbers are always between the double digits and the triple digits. And the reason why is a lot of babies and a lot of pediatric population, they usually get that virus.
Another virus Dr. Elsie Ott says to look out for is the norovirus.
Norovirus is basically a GI illness, meaning that it is a virus that affects the GI system. So we have our esophagus, we have our intestines and stomach, and when we get that virus, we experience severe symptoms.
Dr. Elsie Ott says although the virus is in the single digits according to the hospital records, he says in order to keep this virus at bay, you must wash your hands with soap and water only.
Unfortunately, hand sanitizer are not enough, and the general public is not aware of that, and I would like to raise awareness about washing hands with hot water and soap.
While Brett McDonald, a physician from Mercy Clinic Primary Care in Joplin, says although these diseases are contagious, it isn't a 2020 resurgence.
I don't think that there's going to be any resurgence of face mask, any kind of lockdowns, anything like we saw in 2020, 2021, anything like that. I think it's just going to be a normal flu season like it was before.
And one more thing Dr. Elsie Ott says is crucial is you need to remember to stay hydrated if you're feeling vomiting or nausea. And of course,
for both viruses, they should wash hands with water and soap.
Reporting in Joplin, I'm Lonnie Walton, KOAM News.
Dr. Elsie Ott also says you should socially distance yourself from others for at least 48 hours to prevent spreading any disease. And those are our top news stories this half hour. Coming up next, Dustin Luno of the Joplin Fire Department shares how you can keep your family safe from carbon monoxide poisoning. And later, cold weather can come with some obstacles. We'll have a few tips on how to stay safe when you venture out in the cold. You're watching the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14. Where's Waldo? Well, he's
Where are we?
I don't know. Anyway, well, Waldo is saving his owner. In this case, Waldo is a social media famous Corgi who came to the rescue after a morning walk turned dangerous.
Spencer Turcotti has the story.
This wiggle and wobble are well known around Kitchener. Waldo is often recognized during his daily walks. Not surprising considering he appears in commercials, has nearly 14,000 TikTok followers, and is maybe best known as the Lederhosen Corgi.
Every year at the Oktoberfest Fest Hall in downtown, we bring him in Lederhosen and he'll meet and greet with people.
But about a week ago, a routine walk with his owner Jess Parker took a turn. The path behind her home was quite muddy after a lot of snow melted, making conditions quite slippery. And it took Parker's feet right out from under her.
My body went and my right leg didn't, and I heard a giant crack and I knew that something was wrong. My foot was facing completely east and my body was facing north, so it was very gruesome.
The pain was instant, and with no phone, she felt helpless. Parker began screaming because the path is set far back from the main road. She was frightened nobody would be able to hear her.
Then Waldo immediately jumps to action. He kisses me on the face and then runs away.
On her back and in pain, she was worried until Waldo reappeared.
And I see him out in the distance tugging on a stranger's pant leg, and he starts barking and he leads the guy to me, and I've never met this guy before.
But Waldo immediately took off again. What Parker didn't know was he had dashed to get more help, this time her landlord and her husband.
We just came right down here, and I could see some people gathering just down here, and I could hear Jess. It sounded like she was in a lot of pain.
Paramedics were called and arrived shortly after.
The doctor said I got there just in time. I was losing a lot of blood to my foot, and that can be quite dangerous.
The quick-thinking Corgi is being hailed a hero.
I had hoped I'd never find out, but thankfully, Waldo did pass the Lassie test.
And with Parker now on the road to recovery post-operation, if you're left wondering, where's Waldo? He's right where he's supposed to be, by his owner's side.
That's awesome.
Incredible.
That is one smart Corgi there, too. I mean,
Unbelievable.
and he just keeps going for more help. He's like, hold on, we're going to need more folks here. Like, this is serious.
Absolutely. Unbelievable. So cool to see.
Very cool.
Good job, Waldo. Well, stick around. We'll be right back.
Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News, 7:17 on this Thursday morning. We have an alert day today, and this is why. Not just because this map is very colorful, but because we have wintry weather on the way. We have winter weather advisories across the bulk of the area with winter storm warnings for McDonald, Berry, and Benton counties out there. We have 5 different weather service offices that cover our area. All of these have varying expiration times, the latest of which, primarily into the Missouri and far southeastern Kansas corners, run through 6 o'clock tomorrow evening. But some run through 9 a.m. tomorrow, some run through noon. But either way, we are looking at wintry weather. And here's what it looks like on the future track. So today, it's so wild. We're going to get more snow, let me put it to you this way, than what we had over the weekend. But we're going to have temperatures 10 to 12 degrees warmer than where they have been since the weekend. It's just a très bizarre how everything works. We're going to have south winds increasing as we go through the morning, gusting upwards of 25 at times. Clouds increasing as well. Snow, far southwestern corner of our viewing area by noon. By 3, you can see it's starting to encroach upon all of Oklahoma, northwest Arkansas, and the bulk of southeast Kansas. Now, with that said, this is 3 o'clock. That's a fair amount of snow. We're not expecting, feet of snow by any means, but this is coming up right as a number of schools will be dismissing out in our western counties. So while we haven't seen anything come through, at least I haven't seen anything come through yet, you want to make sure you're checking in with your local school district on social media, of course here on KOAM or on our closings page, in case any of them decide to dismiss early. I know that does happen, especially some of our more rural school districts, kind of a way to beat the snow. So do keep an eye out for that. For the rest of us, though, snow continues to track out, and the thing is by the evening commute for everybody else, the snow's really starting to ramp up across the area. It could be heavy at times, and with those gusty winds, that could lead to reduced visibilities, at least briefly, with some of the heavy snow. So do be prepared for that. If you can, try and stay home. Maybe order a pizza, order dinner, or get something, maybe if you can get out of work early, go pick something up, bring it back. That way you don't have to be out in this business, because you can see it will continue through the evening and into the overnight hours. That's 10 o'clock. And by 5 a.m., we're cloudy. Winds are beginning to shift out of the north on the backside of this system. We'll still have some snow showers and some flurries out there initially. And even though the main snow that the future track is picking up on is gone, it's going to be cold enough. There could be enough moisture in these clouds as we go through Friday. It could spit some flurries at us, but no more accumulating snow expected through the day Friday. But again, don't be surprised if you see a stray flurry or two out there, as skies are expected to remain mostly cloudy. What are we looking at for snow totals? This is what we are looking at for snow totals. This is why we have the winter storm warnings down here where the higher amounts are. Now, of course, the future track here on the snow tracker is trying to be extraordinarily precise, hence 3.7 inches. It would be really odd if that's exactly what you got. But what we're looking at is similar to yesterday. Nevada, south of Fort Scott, in between Fort Scott and Pittsburgh, down toward Parsons, Independence. This line right here and points northwest have better chances of a 1 to 3 inch range of snow. That same line, southeast to right around, say, Neosho, Monette, Mount Vernon, south of Miami, down toward Veneta, kind of riding the I-44 corridor. This is going to be a 2 to 4 inch zone. And then the winter storm warning zone is where we are looking at that possibility of 4 to 6 inches of snow. So we're definitely going to get something. I know a lot of folks are looking forward to it. I don't mind the snow. I just hate that it has to be 5 degrees when it snows, but that's not going to be the case this time. Temperature's cold, but a little better than where we have been. We've got some upper teens still out there, most of us now into the low 20s, but that wind starting to pick up progressively. Feels like 9 in Iola, 8 in Greenfield. Most of us wind chill still into the teens, and it's going to feel a little bit colder out there for us today. 22 to start, 33 by 11. Again, those clouds continue to increase across the area. Highs today right around the mid-30s, and then we'll go into the low 30s tomorrow. North winds tomorrow will be gusting upwards of about 20 miles an hour. We're pretty cold Friday night, and as we head into the weekend, skies clear out a bit. Temperature is closer to normal. And then by the end of next week, another system still several days away, but something we're watching with more rain and possible snow chances as well. Let's check your forecast. We're back with more right after this. Well, bundling up and preventing skin from being exposed to the winter elements is critical to preventing cold weather injuries like frostbite and hypothermia. But if those layers become wet and your body temperature starts to fall, doctors warn it could elevate your risks.
Fox News' Ted Lindner takes a closer look at how to spot the signs and symptoms and what you can do to help stay safe.
With millions across the country facing bone-chilling temperatures, many health experts are warning about cold weather injuries.
Frostbite is when the skin or the tissue actually freezes, and hypothermia is when our body gets so cold that it's unable to maintain that internal core temperature.
Because the body is designed to keep its core organs heated,
our body will shift blood from our skin and our hands and our feet to our core to try to keep it warm.
Besides hands and feet, skin on the nose, ears, and cheeks can also be highly impacted by frostbite.
Whatever organ's impacted may get red, then it may progress to getting white or grayish color. It may feel firm.
And treatment can involve several steps.
First, go into a warm area, remove anything that is wet, any wet clothing that you may have, and then you can gently rewarm that part of your body. It's important not to use hot water. If you still have symptoms or they're severe, we recommend that you get medical attention.
When it comes to hypothermia, pay attention to these telltale signs.
We start off with some shivering that can become pretty intense. The individual may also start to get confused or disoriented.
But while treating hypothermia also involves getting the victim into a warm area and removing wet clothing,
if the individual actually has confusion or they seem to have really intense shivering or that doesn't seem to be helping them, it's important that they get medical attention.
Ted Lindner, Fox News.
Certainly some very important tips. I mean, especially with the bitterly cold, dangerously cold temperatures we've had here over the last few days. Very important information to keep in mind.
Bundle up and not be outside for too long.
Yeah,
at all.
Absolutely.
Well, coming up, one local educator receives the honor and surprise of a lifetime.
And some kids may receive a surprise by tomorrow morning as snow starts to roll into the area. Details when we come back.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14. It's currently 7:29. I'm Elise Snowy. Authorities are investigating an early morning house fire in Joplin. Crews responded to a Glenville neighborhood on Wall Street just after 4:45 yesterday morning. They found smoke and flames coming from the roof of a home under remodel. The fire had caused the roof to collapse and there was no one living there. No word on the cause of the fire. Well, folks in Coffeyville, Kansas had an opportunity to find out about their ancestry. The Coffeyville Public Library hosted its first genealogy group of the year. Library staff and volunteers assisted patrons with researching their family history or local history.
1790 was about the first census, but there's just names, no where they came from or anything. 1850 is the first time they put where you were, what state you were born, and your age, and the whole family, and their age, and where they were born.
The group meets on Tuesdays from 1 to 3 in the afternoon.
An educator award goes to Meredith Reed.
Now that surprise look comes from Girard, Kansas native and choral teacher Meredith Reed. Reed was awarded the Milken Educator Award yesterday at an all-school assembly at Girard High School in front of a crowd of cheering students and colleagues. Now, the Oscar of Teaching is awarded to exceptional educators for their dedication to excellence in education and leadership. For Reed, the real reward comes from working with her students.
My why is when I see those kids come into my room. And whenever I see their progress and see their pride in the concerts that they do and the contests that they achieve one ratings at, that becomes my why.
Reed's award marks the first ever Milken in Girard United School District 248 history. Now let's head over to Chris with a quick look at your forecast.
We are a bit on the chilly side again. Clouds increasing pretty quickly across the region, and they will continue to do so as we go through the morning. Of course, our camera downtown Pittsburgh. Head over to the MoDOT camera, 20th and range line, looking back east. Now back off to the east, we just have a few clouds. More of them, though, right back behind this camera on the way in. We have an alert day today, and this is why. We have wintry weather on the way. Winter weather advisories for most of the area. Winter storm warnings, McDonald, Berry, Benton counties through at least tomorrow. All of these run through tomorrow. But they have varying expiration times. And in the winter storm warnings, we could see a little bit more snow than everyone else. In fact, I'll take a moment real quick. So same line, Nevada, in between Fort Scott, Pittsburgh, back toward Parsons, Independence, points northwest, look to have better chances of 1 to 3 inches of snow. From that same line, down to, say, Neosho, Monette, Mount Vernon, back in between Miami and Grove toward Veneta. That zone could be about 2 to 4 inches. And you get south of that point, get into the winter storm warnings. That's where we could see 4 to 6 inches of snow out of this system. So onto the future track we go. By noon, sneaking into our southwestern counties. It's also said this snow will be overtaking a good portion of northeastern Oklahoma and the bulk of southeast Kansas as kids are getting out of school. So I know some of our rural school districts, it's not uncommon for them to dismiss early to try and beat this snow. We don't have any. I haven't seen any of these yet, but do keep an eye on your local school district's social page right here on KOAM and on our closings page, just in case some of our western counties decide to dismiss a little early. Otherwise, we're going to be dealing with this through the evening rush hour for everybody across the area as this snow will continue overnight tonight. We're at 22 in Joplin, 21 in Pittsburgh, and across the area, temperatures, they're cold, but they are better than where we were yesterday. We've just got a few upper teens, most of us now settling in to the low to mid 20s, but the south winds increasing as well. They'll be gusting upwards of 25, which could lead to the potential of blowing snow, leading to briefly reduced visibilities here and there, so keep that in mind. It does feel like 9 in Iola, 8 in Greenfield. Wind chills to the rest of us pretty well into the teens. Again, clouds continue to increase. Then by noon, snow begins to increase across the area, and we'll make about the mid-30s for our highs today. We'll have another look at your forecast. We're going to break down all the details on this snow and the warmer weather that is on the horizon here in just a few more minutes. Elise?
All right, thanks, Chris. And don't forget, you can be the first to know about the day's weather with the KOAM Skywatch weather app. You can get severe weather updates sent straight to your phone free of charge. It's available in the Apple App Store and the Google Play Store, the KOAM Skywatch weather app. And that's a look at our top news stories coming up this half hour on the KOAM Morning News. The power of meditation, how one Texas woman is leading the way and encouraging others to focus on their mental health. In Consumer Watch this morning, a tentative agreement ends threats of a potential port strike. The International Longshoresmen Association Union and the U.S. Maritime Alliance of Ports say both sides agreed to a deal for a new 6-year contract before next week's deadline. The agreement still needs to be approved by employers and union workers. Now, the two sides say details will not be released until members review and approve the agreement. AT&T says customers who are affected by network outages can expect a credit on their bill as an apology moving forward. Starting today, the company says customers who experience a fiber outage of 20 minutes or more or a wireless outage for at least 1 hour will receive the bill credit, which will equal a full day of service. The announcement comes after AT&T suffered a nationwide wireless service disruption in February 2024 that lasted more than 12 hours. Well, swiping your credit card may be costing you more than you realize. Industry experts say the fees charged to retailers by banks and credit card companies is eating up a significant chunk of retailers' profit margins. The National Retail Federation says the interchange fee averages just over 2% of transactions for credit cards, but can be as much as 4% for some premium rewards cards. Now, that cost is often now being passed on to the consumer. Well, officials say at least 5 people have lost their lives as multiple blazes continue raging throughout the Los Angeles area. California firefighters are being pushed to their limits, with officials to the north in neighboring Oregon providing extra crews. But as infernos that broke out Tuesday keep burning, a new fire has also erupted Wednesday night. With containment efforts facing challenges, tech experts are aiming to create devices to detect and combat future fires. Fox News' Ted Lindner has the story.
Multiple deaths are being reported as several wildfires continue burning across Southern California.
Our hearts are breaking for you, and we stand with you.
The Los Angeles area is under siege as more than 1,000 firefighters battle the blazes, including the Palisades, Eaton, and Hearst fires.
Our community's gone.
The infernos forcing tens of thousands of evacuations, with powerful Santa Ana winds carrying embers through the air.
These are hurricane-force winds that are combined with extremely dry drought conditions.
Dire situations like these are prompting the Los Angeles Fire Department to ask all off-duty crews in the city to help. This as new blazes continue popping up, with the Sunset Fire breaking out Wednesday night in the Hollywood Hills.
The sooner you detect the fire, the more quickly you can get resources to that fire.
Meanwhile, innovators have been racing to provide solutions, with tech experts at this year's CES in Las Vegas unveiling gadgets they hope could combat future blazes. Those include camera alert systems armed with artificial intelligence.
Every 30 seconds, the AI on board of our system itself is scanning for flame or smoke. And when we detect something, we backhaul the data and we send an alert with a picture.
Radar and weather apps are also hoping to save lives.
We not only are able to plot the location of the fires on the map, but using satellite imagery are also able to show our users where potential hotspots are burning.
Ted Lindner, Fox News.
And those are our top consumer stories. Let's take a look at the market prices before the opening bell.
Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News. Just after 7:43 now on this Thursday morning, it is an alert day in the 4 states as we've got winter weather on the way. Winter weather advisories for most of the region, all running through tomorrow. But we also have winter storm warnings for McDonald, Berry, and Benton counties that will run through tomorrow as well. And in that area is where we could see some slightly higher snow totals. Let's take a look at what we're looking at for today. So for the first half of our day, if you got something you got to get done, maybe you don't have work, you don't have anything else you have to do, now's the best time to do it before the snow gets here. Now, some of you will have a little more time than others to get stuff done. Some of you are running out of time to get things taken care of before the snow rolls in. By noon, there it is, just barely showing up on the southwestern fringes of our immediate viewing area here. We'll have the south winds increasing, of course, clouds increasing. They're doing that now. And those south winds will be gusting upwards of 25, which will pose its own problems we'll talk about in just a moment. By about 3 o'clock, here it comes. Chinook, Yates Center, Parsons, just outside of Joplin, so maybe Galena, Riverton, Miami, Grove, Anderson, Bentonville, maybe even into Cassville. Here comes the snow. Now, number one, the wind. That could cause some issues with reduced visibilities with blowing snow. Now, the good news is we're not looking at wind just howling today, and even the gusts we see won't be continuous, but when those winds pick up from time to time, could lead to some reduced visibilities with some blowing snow as it comes down. Number two, again, I haven't seen anything as of yet, but you want to make sure you're keeping up with your local school district. You'll find information, of course, on our website, our app, and on air. But some of our more rural school districts may decide to dismiss early. They may not. I'm not in charge. I don't do these things for you. I don't make the decision, but they might, because by 3 o'clock, all of our western counties are going to be getting into this snow, and some of them will have been in the snow for just a little bit by 3. So some may dismiss early to try and beat that. They may not. I'm not the one in charge of the schools. I'm just telling you, keep an eye out. For the rest of us, though, as we head into the evening commute, it's snow across the region, and that's going to be hampering that drive home from the office, or maybe if you're heading out for dinner, again, you might want to consider ordering something, getting something brought to you, or if you have time today, going out, picking it up, and just bringing it home so you're ready to go, because you don't want anybody driving out in it, because this could be a heavy, wet snow, which means, again, we're not talking feet of snow by any means. Trust me, if we were, we'd have a much different situation, but it could lead to slushy spots, which will be more slick spots, and you don't want to be messing around in that. And it continues through the evening. Here we are at 10 o'clock, snow continuing across the area. The good news is, later in the evening and overnight, the winds will calm down. And then as we head into Friday, winds will begin to shift out of the north. Could still have a few lingering snow showers in the morning. And then through the day, since we'll have this cloud cover hanging out, could get some flurries here and there, but nothing else that would add on to whatever snow we do see across the area. And then otherwise, again, just gusty north winds pushing about 20, and skies staying mostly cloudy. So in terms of snow totals, this is what the computer models are thinking. I'm going to break this down onto what we're looking at in terms of averages here. So Nevada, in between Fort Scott, Pittsburgh, follow this line. Parsons, Independence, here. If you're northwest of that line, you're looking at more likely totals of 1 to 3 inches. If you're at that line and to the south and east, say from around Veneta, Neosho, Monette, Mount Vernon, in this zone, so that'd be Lamar, Columbus, Chautauqua, Miami, Joplin, Pittsburgh, we're talking 2 to 4 inches. And if you're southeast of that point, where the winter storm warnings are, that's where we could get into that 4 to 6 inch range of snow. So we got a lot to keep an eye on. 22 to start, mostly cloudy skies, cloudy by 11 and 33. We're looking at highs today, ultimately reaching the mid-30s. So that's the other thing. This is going to be a better opportunity for a little bit more snow than what we saw last weekend, but our temperatures are going to be, well, compared to last weekend, 15 some odd degrees warmer. But hey, we'll take it. Mid-30s today, low to mid-30s tomorrow, gusty winds, 20s tonight, down into the teens tomorrow night. Then take a look at Saturday, 40. Temperatures not quite at average and getting close. And then we're into near the 50s by next Thursday and Friday. We're keeping an eye on another system next weekend with more rain and possible snow chances. That's Check of Your Forecast. We're back with more right after this.
Well, as we step into a new year, many of us are looking to make 2025 our best year yet.
Nicole Nielsen found one North Texas mom who's leading the way and inspiring her family and others too to do the same.
When I became a mother, I was like, oh my gosh, motherhood's a lot. Juggling a career, motherhood, being a wife.
Busyness is a universal language we all speak.
I needed something for me.
Elsa Thompson found her answer in the relaxing power of meditation.
You're ready, go ahead and push those hips forward, lengthening through the back leg, holding it here. To truly feel like myself again, pour into myself so I can show up as the best mother and wife and business owner.
What started as a personal journey led her to create the Aura House in Cedar Hill, a yoga and meditation studio sharing mental wellness with North Texas. But it all began from her own need to navigate the chaos of life and find peace within her own family.
When you first, say I'm going to prioritize my self-care and my health, it is an I. But in reality, bringing the kids along with me has actually been better.
With their husband and 3 sons, Elsa has turned her personal love for meditation into a family affair of mindfulness, practicing yoga, embracing nature, and making time to unplug, and says it's something everyone should prioritize.
Turning the TV off, putting the electronics down, and just connecting with nature.
Result, a world of difference. From deep breaths outside to embracing small joys, Elsa and her family have learned to harness the power of pause.
They pick up on the little things. I see them pausing and taking deep breaths, or, hey mommy, before we go to bed, can we stretch? And they see all of that because they see me doing it. And so while self-care is a self-journey, the best thing that a parent can do is to model the behaviors that they want their kids to emulate.
Certainly some great advice
Yes.
and great ways to relax as well. If you're flexible. I'm not as flexible these days, but still, there's other ways to relax.
Absolutely.
Like taking a nap.
Taking a nap's always good.
And it's a good day to maybe take a nap, stay indoors, get things done now before the snow gets here. One more look at the advisories we have across the area. Again, we have an alert day today, and this is why we have winter weather advisories for most of the area running through tomorrow. And then in McDonald, Berry, and Benton counties, we have that winter storm warning where we're expecting a little more snow than the rest of us. So here's what we're looking at by noon, just sneaking into the area. By about 3 o'clock or so, most of Kansas into Oklahoma, northwest Arkansas, and even into parts of southwest Missouri, that snow is rolling on in here, and it will continue to spread through, which means for just about all of us, your evening commute is definitely going to be impacted by snow. The thing is this could be a heavy wet snow, so what that leads to is one, slushiness and slick spots, which is going to be its own thing, but with south winds gusting today, that could lead to temporarily reduced visibilities at times when those winds pick up, so do keep that in mind as well. Snow continues through the evening into the overnight and will start to come to a close tomorrow morning. Be a little cooler with a gusty north wind on our Friday. Well, now look at your forecast and the news you need to know right after this.
Well, here's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door. Well, Freeman Health System announces it's making progress on its Fort Scott location. The 10-bed general medical unit and 24-hour emergency department will operate within the city's former hospital site. Now, once renderings are approved, renovations will begin. Freeman Health System says they're optimistic the facility will open in the spring. The Parsons, Kansas Police Department is hopeful its new domestic violence unit will help reverse a troubling trend. The city opened the unit in September in response to rising numbers of domestic violence reports, and the program is funded by a 2-year federal grant and operates from an undisclosed location away from the police headquarters. And Freeman Hospital in Joplin reports that cases of flu and RSV are currently in the double digits, and experts warn that these numbers will likely continue to climb if precautions aren't taken. Meanwhile, norovirus remains a high concern. ER doctors urge the public to stay vigilant. Regular hand washing and social distancing when you're feeling sick are key to keeping these illnesses at bay.
Now remember, we have our alert day today. Snow on the way. It'll begin to increase as we head into the afternoon, and it'll be for all of us out there. Winter weather advisories for the bulk of the area. Winter storm warnings once again. McDonald, Berry, and Benton counties where you could see 4 to 6 inches of snow today. The rest of us in a roughly 1 to 4 inch range, depending on where you are out there. Mid-30s, south winds gusting to 25, and then overnight, through the evening, the winds will ease up. They'll become calm overnight. Snow continues, though, back down into the mid-20s. So should wrap up early tomorrow morning, but we could still have a few stray flurries here and there through the day Friday, but no more accumulating snow on Friday. Low 30s. Temperatures start warming up a little closer to normal as we head into next week, and we got our eyes on another system toward the end of next week with more rain and possible snow chances.
Alrighty. The great desfile of the Black and White Carnival took place in Pasto, Narnia on Monday. Now, this event highlights the creativity of participating artists.
Black and White Carnival is named after two historical curiosities. The Day of Blacks, which commemorates the day enslaved black people were granted a day of freedom, and the Day of Whites, where mestizos would cover passersby in perfumed white powder to celebrate unity and joy during the Epiphany. Certainly an interesting celebration.
Absolutely.
And we will be covered in our own white powder as we head into this afternoon, and that is in the form of snow. We'll keep you updated and be back today at noon.
Have a great rest of your morning.